Hey guys, it's Benjamin with Benjamin's Exotics, and today we're going to be doing a video on some of the amphibian breeding projects we've been working on here at Benjamin's Exotics. And this is kind of a video that's sort of a tale of some success and a lot of failure as well. So as some of you guys know, I've been kind of moving into the amphibian breeding scene. Amphibians are, right behind reptiles, one of my favorite types of animals. And there really aren't a whole lot of people working with some of your more common amphibian species that we have here in North America. Things like southern toads, American toads, leopard frogs. These are species that just really aren't worked with too much. So that's kind of been my project, is to establish those species in captivity. And one of my favorite, actually probably my favorite species of frogs ever, would be southern toads. And these have been a project that I've been working on for about the past 2 years, getting together a group of breeding adults and, trying to get these guys to spawn. And last night, I had my first successful spawn of these guys. However, to say that things went as planned or that things were ideal would not really be accurate. So basically, to give you a little bit of a backstory, last night, well actually yesterday in the morning, I had my breeding group, or one of my breeding groups, all prepared to spawn. I was taking the steps that are needed to get these guys to actually develop eggs, and basically I was cycling them for breeding. And I had them all set up, and the plan was at about, I think it was set for about 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I was going to put these guys in this rain chamber. This is a 40-gallon high country plastic stock tank, and the goal was to put these guys in here and see if we get a spawn. Now, I came in about 10 o'clock at night, and I was just about to put these guys in the rain chamber. Again, I had them cycled the day before, or that previous morning. And when I went to pick up this female right here, which, let's see if I can actually light this up a little bit better. This female southern toad right here, I went to put her in the rain chamber. She's the one, obviously, that's the bigger one. The little one on the back is a male. I went to put her in this rain chamber, and as I picked her up, I saw something coming out of her cloaca. And I was like, that's kind of weird. What is this? I was kind of freaked out for a second, and then I realized it was eggs. Like, she was spawning in her tank. Now, just to put this into some perspective, she's kept with 2 other females in a 10-gallon tank with a coconut fiber substrate and a tiny little water dish. And she was just laying her eggs just in the coconut fiber, just circling around the water dish, dry as it can be. I mean, it's not, the coconut fiber is slightly moist, but it isn't really moist. And she was just laying her eggs in the enclosure. And unfortunately, she wasn't in with a male, and obviously she wasn't in the water. So all those eggs were not viable and not fertilized, and they obviously kind of dried out. I was able to rehydrate them so I can show you guys, but I've never heard of this happening before at all. I mean, an American toad, or in this case a southern toad, just laying eggs on like dry soil. I've never heard of that. I mean, I guess it's in theory possible. Obviously this animal pulled it off, but I've never heard in the literature, reading about people that have bred species like this in the past. I've just never heard of this, and I didn't think that was a possibility, so I wasn't even thinking about that. But unfortunately, in this case, she did probably lay about 90% of her spawn in that glass tank. I'll go ahead and show you right now. This is basically it. This is, when I first got these, they were all dried out, but I put these in the water overnight, and they've kind of rehydrated. But let me see if I can kind of readjust this so I can show you guys a better shot. But it really sucks, because this is a species that I've wanted to spawn for the past 2 years. I've been trying, and like you can see, I mean, that's a pretty healthy spawn, but these were all laid in her cage, which just is really unfortunate. So all of these are unfertilized. They dried out, so they're bad anyways, but these are all not destined to hatch. Now, the small good part to it is that I did catch her before she had finished laying all these eggs. This is probably about 90% of the eggs that she had, which again is very unfortunate, but she did actually lay, thankfully, some eggs in this rain chamber. So that was kind of the first thing that went wrong with this breeding attempt, which is just crazy. I've never heard of this before. So in the future, I'm going to have to really pay attention to my females and make sure that they don't do that or that I catch it in time. I kind of just set them up, I cycled them, and I kind of just left. And I came back many hours later ready to put them in the rain chamber, and she just laid them in the cage with the dry coconut fiber. I really just, I don't understand that at all. That was the first thing. So that's, you know, that kind of sucks because it means that a lot of those eggs are not destined to hatch, but thankfully she did still have some eggs in her. This is kind of the second hiccup of this spawning attempt, and the second thing that went wrong, and this will determine whether or not any of the eggs that are in this rain chamber are actually good. I don't know if you guys can see, I have a flashlight to kind of light the area up, but she did lay some more eggs, not many. You can see some in there. There's some right underneath of her right now. There's some eggs right there, that little black, it's kind of hard to see, but the little black circles you see right next to that PVC coupler, those are some more eggs that she spawned in here. There's some more eggs back there, so there might be like 150 or something eggs that were spawned in here last night, which really sucks, but you know, it's better than nothing. But the second thing that went wrong, and I have no clue why she was doing this, but she was like being unreceptive to the males. So as you can see, I put 3 of my best males in here. 2 of these are North Carolina bloodstock, and 1, that male right there, is a Florida bloodstock animal, and I put them in here, and I kept checking up on her about once every hour or so, and she just was not being receptive to the males. I have no clue why. She kept knocking them off and kicking them off, and each one of these males has been in implexus with her multiple times over the past day, and it's one of those weird things where I have no clue whether or not any of those males actually had a chance to fertilize any of those eggs that she laid. And if they did, they certainly didn't get many. For whatever reason, and again, I haven't had females do this before. She just kept, like, I don't want to say kicking them off because that's not, you know, maybe the right term, but she kept just knocking them off. She would bang them against the thing, you know, the side of the stock tank, and they would get knocked off, and each one of these males just kept trying to get in plexus with her, and she just wasn't having it. I have no clue why. So of the eggs that are in here, you know, maybe 150 or something, which sounds like a lot, but for a frog, you know, especially a southern toad that can lay thousands of eggs, that's really nothing. I have no clue whether or not they were fertilized, and truth be told, if I was going to bet, I would bet that there's like a 1% chance that they got fertilized. You know, the males just didn't have the time, and I think she got most of her eggs out before they even, you know, had a good chance to breed with her in the first place. So this is kind of a tale of success and failure. I'm very happy that I was able to get these guys to spawn. You know, I've been trying over and over and over again for the past, you know, really year. I've been trying to cycle them through the rain chamber, and this is a new chamber that I just built, which might, you know, I guess she didn't really spawn in here per se at first, but hopefully this will help with the breeding so I'll have better success going forward. But I'm happy that I was able to get a southern toad to actually lay eggs. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment, but in terms of actually getting fertilized eggs and, you know, viable tadpoles, I'm really uncertain, and I'm really kind of bummed out because, again, I think there's like a 1% chance that any of these eggs are fertilized. I have no clue if any of these males released any sperm into the water. If they did, and they did it while she was spawning, laying the last, you know, 150, 200 eggs that she did lay, maybe some of these eggs are fertilized, but I seriously doubt it. So I'm going to call this attempt, you know, we have to wait a couple days to see if any of the eggs actually hatch. The water temperature in here is in the, you know, kind of low 70s, so it is pretty warm. So it'll be, I would say, about 3 days normally when you have that water temperature that they will start to hatch. So we'll give it 3 or 4 days. I'll probably give it a week. And I'll leave all of these eggs in here and see if any of them start to hatch out into tadpoles. But for now, I'm going to be calling this attempt a fail. You know, it's one of those things. Amphibians are not easy to breed. I'm really thankful that I was able to actually get any of my females to lay eggs. But it's kind of one of those things where this is just kind of a live and learn lesson. I had no clue females could do this or would do this, and in the future I'm going to have to take some extra measures to make sure that I get the females in the rain chamber sooner, and I'll have to find some way to accurately monitor them and make sure they're not, you know, laying eggs in their dry substrate. I've just never even heard of that, but unfortunately that is what this female southern toad did last night. So again, this has been kind of a tale of success and failure. It's actually pretty cool. As we've been recording right here, this little male southern toad has actually started shedding his skin, which is not common to see at all, so it's actually cool. I can kind of film him as we end the video. But yeah, this was a tale of success and failure. I'm happy they spawned, but obviously a lot of things could have gone better. And next time I'm going to just have to learn from this, keep a lot closer of an eye on my females, and probably get them in the rain chamber a lot sooner than I did. I normally, you know, it's kind of cycling, you know, when you're doing breeding of any sort of amphibian, you know, like southern toads or, you know, Pac-Man frogs, tomato frogs, whatever, timing is really the thing, and I didn't want to jump the gun and just get them straight into the chamber because I wanted to clean their gut out. I wanted to get all the crap out of them. You know, you don't want to basically put them in here, have them go to the bathroom, and then all the water goes to crap. So you really have to, you know, nail your timing, and I think I was just a little bit too slow at getting her in the chamber, and next time, again, I'm definitely going to have to do things a little bit different. But I hope that you guys can learn from this video, benefit from this video, and if you guys out there are trying to get your own southern toads to spawn, or similar species like American toads, woodhouse toads, even, you know, Gulf Coast toads, things like that, this can be a lesson that you guys can hopefully learn from and not make the same mistake. You know, really keep an eye on your females. And I'm not saying that every species of toad is going to do this. I have no clue how common this is, but it seems that American toads, and I would guess other similar types of toads, if conditions aren't right and they have eggs and they want to get them out, they can just lay them right in the substrate and they'll all go to crap and dry out. So really keep an eye on that for anyone out there that's trying to do, you know, American toad breeding. This is not a common type of, you know, family of amphibians to breed. You know, American toads, woodhouse toads, and southern toads are all kind of in the same family, as well as some other toad species. So I hope you guys did enjoy today's video. If you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to give this video a like. Be sure to leave a comment down below, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching today's video, and I will see you guys in the next video.